So it's an incredibly unfortunate coincidence with what just happened with Dance Gavin Dance, at least in the context of me releasing this series not long before Tim Feerick's death. Their bassist, Tim Feerick, died on April 13th, as far as I understand. The next day, Dance Gavin Dance posted to their Facebook page a simple post letting their fans know about what happened. I'll go ahead and show it right here just so everyone can see what it is that they posted. I'll go ahead and read it off. We are absolutely devastated to share the news that our friend and bass player Tim Feerick passed away last night. We ask that you respect our privacy and that of Tim's family while we deal with this heartbreaking and untimely loss. We will share further updates on Swanfest and our upcoming touring schedule as soon as we have them. Death is a powerful thing. Tim Feerick joined Dance Gavin Dance in 2012. I believe around the time that Tilian, their new singer, joined. And before that, I as far as I understand, he toured with him before that at some point. Anyway, the point of this video is to let any fans of Dance Gavin Dance on YouTube know about this if they haven't heard about it, and to try and get as many people as possible to go and show Dance Gavin Dance some love. You know, like I said, death is a powerful thing, both in terms of the positive and the negative. Death touches pretty close to home for me in a lot of ways, but, you know, this video is not about me. One thing I wanted to note in this video is a coping mechanism or two about how I've personally come to deal with such heavy loss. And I'll just say this in the form of a short story. One of my professors in college, his mother had passed away. And me having been touched by loss and death, felt it's somewhat appropriate to email him something about something that helped me cope with the loss of someone close to me. My professor and I weren't super close, but he was a teacher in my major of criminal justice, and we had many interesting and intimate and honest conversations just about all kinds of things. The thing that I emailed him was something along the lines of giving a bit of context about why I'm sending this, and, you know, I wish him the best, and, you know, all my condolences and to him and his family who were affected by the loss. That it's important to remind ourselves that as much as death feels like it's happening to us personally, it's happening to all of life. As unfortunate or as harsh as that sounds, it's the honest truth. So not only is death happening to all of life, it is also happening to us personally. And all that reminds me of the grieving process, which I recently went over in my analysis of Dance Gavin Dance's lyrics in Acceptance Speech. And I'd mentioned at some point in my series that that album had helped me, more than really anything, learn how to rush to the end of the grieving process, or the acceptance stage of the grieving process, as in, you know, the beginning of it is denial, the end is acceptance. And the quicker anyone moves towards acceptance, the quicker they will be a hop, skip, and a jump away from being okay from such a heavy loss. Such to say, that reminds me of a follow-up post that they made a day ago from me filming this. I'm just going to read it here. I'll show it up on screen again, wherever. So this is the next day. Life kind of got in the way yesterday, so I couldn't continue filming. Anyway, I needed to make it clear that even though it's wisest to rush to the end of the grieving process, it's still important to grieve. I don't want to make light of the importance of death, because death is incredibly meaningful. It reminds us of why life is important and why it's important to carry on in an honest effort to not let the people that we love die in vain. Such to say, one could say that grief is as important as death. A short and sweet phrase I can think of that applies to this is, "In the name of the fallen, we carry on." Such to say, about the time that I was filming last, Tilian posted a picture to Facebook with a little caption that sort of reflects what I'm saying. And I'll go ahead and show it off right here for you to see. Swanfest is on. The tour is on. Let's fucking go. This is the post I was reading before I was interrupted yesterday. Posted by Gavin. Again, I'll show it off right here. This past week has been the most challenging time in Gavin's history. On Thursday, April 14th, we found out that we had lost Tim. While he was the bassist in the band, he was also our brother and best friend. Losing him is devastating. We were preparing to meet up this past weekend in Sacramento for a photo shoot, and then rehearse this week ahead of Swanfest and the subsequent tour, when we heard the devastating news that he was no longer with us. After the initial shock and sadness, it wasn't long after that we were faced with some challenging decisions about the immediate future and our upcoming plans. After many internal discussions with our team and most importantly Tim's family, we've decided to perform this year's Swanfest and do the subsequent tour in honor and dedication to Tim. We will also move ahead with the announcement of our forthcoming album later this week. The main factor of this decision came from knowing who Tim was as a person and what he would have wanted. We are confident that he would be very disappointed if we were to postpone or cancel these dates. We received further affirmation of this from Tim's parents, with their encouragement to perform these dates. In addition, music is our way of healing, and we, as the remaining members, desire to be together during this time and perform on stage to our fans the songs that he helped create. While no one can ever replace Tim or what he has brought to the band, we have asked that Sergio Medina, a close friend to all of us and someone who has worked with Tim, to perform the bass duties for the upcoming shows. We are planning a memorial to Tim at Swanfest, and the entire festival will be in dedication to him, as will all the following shows on the tour. We look forward to celebrating his life with the fans. While this is an immense tragedy for everyone that loved and respected Tim, he would want everyone to come out, be together, and enjoy the music. Rest in peace, Tim. Will, Matt, John, Tilian, and Andrew. Gavin. So it seems like what they're saying here is, the show must go on. And again, in the name of the fallen, we carry on. And again, like Tilian said, Swanfest is on, the tour is on, let's fucking go. That said, I needed to get back and make a point about what I had said earlier, or while I was previously filming, about what I had sent my professor when his mother died. Why that's significant is because in class the next day, he brought it up to the whole class. He left me anonymous thankfully, so I could, avoid the embarrassment. But he made it clear a student had reached out to him to give him some kind and honest words. And he decided to tell us a fable. It's apparently an old fable from the East. I'm not sure what time period it came from, what exactly the country of origin it is. And I'd like to share that with you now, if you care to hear it. So basically, this woman has a baby, and the baby dies. And she goes to the village wise man, the sage, and asks him, "What can you do to save my baby? My baby's dead. Please, save my baby." She's begging him. And he's telling her, "Sorry, there's nothing, nothing can be done. What's done is done. Once an egg is cooked, it's cooked." She immediately goes into fits of denial. And so, to calm her and give her something that might give her some sort of solace, he gives her a task. He tells her to go to each hut in the village and ask for a mustard seed. But the person can only give her a mustard seed if they have never experienced loss. And so she goes to each hut in the village and, she explains the situation. And each and every time, someone has experienced loss on some level. Someone's dog died, someone lost a friend, family member. Again, to make it clear, death touches all of us. Within that, death is unfortunately just a part of life. Anyway, so she goes back to the village elder and, tells him, "I couldn't get a mustard seed. Like, there's no one who hasn't experienced loss." And the sage simply tells her the cold, hard truth. Your baby's dead. And in that fable, one is supposed to gain the wisdom that death does touch everyone. At some point, often at ridiculously unexpected times, such as in this situation. Again, the point of this video is to give some sort of update to people who may care about the situation. If the situation happens to affect you significantly, there's no words I can say that will make it better, or there's no words anyone can say to make it better, or to help you get to the end of the grieving process. That said, it doesn't seem like Dance Gavin Dance plans on letting Tim's death to have occurred in vain. It's unclear exactly how he died. He was 34 when it happened. Again, it happened last Wednesday on April 13th, 2022. And it's just the tragedy. Death is most often a tragedy. That's about all I have to say about it. If you're curious to hear any future updates from me about the situation, let me know, and I'll do my best to keep on it. As sad as the situation is, I plan on carrying on with the rest of my series, definitely with Tim in mind, because his skills played a pretty significant part in the way that Dance Gavin Dance sounds. Again, in the words of Tilian, let's fucking go. Alright, so this is day 3 of me filming and editing this. Life just keeps happening, as usual. Anyway, a thought occurred to me that I meant to add onto the end of when I last filmed, but, like I said, and it's that even if the dead have fallen, they will always be with us. And anyone who truly loves somebody knows that, deep down inside them. Parents know this, that they will always be with their children. And children eventually learn that they were always with their parents. I said even people who lose friends and significant others eventually do learn how much that person affected them to the point that they are now a part of them. Such to say that, like the Force, death will always be with you. In that same vein, life will always be with you. So again, don't let the fallen die in vain. Because if you haven't heard about this, you should look it up for yourself. Keanu Reeves was featured on Stephen Colbert at some point. And Stephen Colbert asked Keanu Reeves, what do you think happens when we die? And he says, I don't know, but I know that those who love us will miss us. If Tim Feerick touched your soul in any manner, on any level, he means something to you, and he'll always be with you. You carry a part of his ghost, and you can do something positive with it. I'm sure all the members of Dance Gavin Dance feel the same way, especially based on that post that they made. I'm sorry if this video came off as pretty long-winded, but death is so significant that it's important to take these long moments of contemplation and thought to be able to properly process essentially losing a limb. That said, Dance Gavin Dance will probably always feel that phantom pain, but we all feel a phantom pain on some level. And the best we can do is carry forward with our eyes on the future. We praise the future, as some would say. If you thought I was done talking, I'm sorry. So I decided to see what else Dance Gavin Dance had to say as this situation unfolds, you know, as I'm filming and editing this entire mess. I went over to the Facebook page, and not only did they announce their new album, but they also posted a GoFundMe that people could donate to Tim's family. That said, I'll show both those posts right here. First, this one, the GoFundMe for Tim. If you have any sort of, you know, love and support, or ability to support, rather, Tim's grieving family, you know, who wouldn't encourage you to do so? I personally wish I could just give them $1 million, but I'm like dirt poor. Anyway, so for anyone, you know, curious about what this whole new album is about, again, I'll show like the post for it here. Looks like it's called Jackpot Juicer, which, I mean, it reminds me of a lyric that they have about something along the lines of only bangers from now on. As in, you know, Tim was part of making those bangers, by the way, if it wasn't obvious. You know, his bass licks are pretty much legendary, you know, like right up there next to fucking Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and, you know, like all kinds of, you know, other amazing bassists. I'm sure bassists listening to this or watching this know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and so that seems to be what this album is just another list of bangers, but in the context of, you know, if art is just rolling the dice constantly, or, you know, yanking on the slot machine, then they keep hitting the jackpot, because they just have this good synergy, which is apparently a single that, you know, was written for the album. If no one has heard Synergy yet, it was released a few weeks ago or something like that, from me filming this. And so yeah, Jackpot Juicer seems like it's going to be an exciting and very interesting time for Dance Gavin Dance. It's unclear how much Tim recorded for the album, but if the album was pretty much complete with all the parts recorded and they're just in the post-production mixing process, then it could be exciting to hear what Tim had to say, you know, before he left us. I never personally followed Tim myself. I've got like too many projects to even like try to summarize. But again, this video isn't about me. It's hell, I mean, I would consider it a dedication to Tim, and if there happened to end up being any ads, I don't imagine there would be. I don't have like a big enough following yet. So if I did happen to get any sort of ad revenue from this, you know, if the GoFundMe was still up, I would, you know, by the time I got any significant amount of money from it, I would dump it all into that GoFundMe. Just food for thought, you know. I mean, that said, you can feel free to pass this video along, but I mean, I'm not in it for the attention. I literally just care about spreading that love, peace, and joy that I've talked about in my previous videos. Like, I've been dirt poor for so long, I'm just used to it.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, again, I'm sorry if you thought I was done talking. Here we are at the end of the video. I'm proud of you if you stuck around this long. You've got some crazy level patience, or you just care. You know, sometimes it just takes that much. Anyway, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what time period you're watching this in, I love you. And I mean that unconditionally.